The AARO series on Netflix is a Japanese drama with supernatural tones, and it has a lot going on. The actor who played Light Yagami in the live-action Death Note movies is back, and he's fantastic playing the paranormal investigator Okitama. His primary colleague, the character Amano, is also great to watch on screen. The series starts off as a kind of whodunit Monster of the Week series, but by episode 6, the first big twist is revealed, which I can't talk about without spoiling. So I'll talk about that in a spoiler section later on in this review. Let's start with talking about the lesser good points about this show. The cinematography of the show is overall decent. Sometimes the editing though feels a little too quick. What really stands out about this show are the actors and the show's soundtrack. The acting on screen is great to watch and outshines the cinematography and editing of this show. Another character played by Hikari Yoshida is also great to watch, but her character also carries an important secret that I can't reveal without talking about spoilers. The plot of this show revolves around AARO, a mysterious organization dealing with supernatural cases and affairs, working alongside the police to investigate Hiriko, a mysterious kami who is responsible for the sudden and mysterious deaths of both random and notable individuals. The distrust showcased by the Japanese police towards AARO is amusing to watch at times and adds to the tension built up in the show. This show displays a lot of tension between characters, and you feel often that they don't even completely trust their teammates, as suspicion is always drawn to one of them being secretly connected to Hiriko. Every episode of this series really feels like a mini movie. I particularly liked episodes 6, 8, 9, and 10 as my favorites, but I can't really talk about them without going into spoilers, so I will save that for the second half of this review. Sometimes though, AARO does feel like it's biting off more than it can chew, since Okitama offers explanations to certain situations that sound very outlandish, but turn out to be true. You also might feel a little lost watching this show if you don't know anything about Japanese Shintoism, as it uses a lot of that mythology in the show, though it does its best to explain everything. It's just that it comes off as heavy exposition dumps with visuals rather than scenes being played out. The directing of this show, I argue, is better in some places more than others. Characters emote more through their acting in some scenes over others where they feel more stiff or standoffish, though this might just be standard Japanese behavior. Overall, AARO is a very fun and entertaining series. I think this show can be easily comparable to something like The Magicians or Buffy the Vampire Slayer in its setting, plot, and tone. However, AARO does suffer from some pacing issues, and the editing feels too fast-paced at times. The actors, particularly the two leads, Okitama and Amano, along with the big twists and reveals, are what make you keep watching until the end. And the show has a great soundtrack too, particularly in action and suspense sequences, which helps to enhance the watching experience to the viewer's satisfaction. Do I recommend watching AARO? Yes, absolutely. But be prepared for some expedition dumps here and there, and if you have some interest in Japanese mythology, you'll be able to enjoy the show much better than if you didn't. If you're a fan of Death Note, you owe it to yourself to check this one out. Now for the spoiler section. All the members of AARO are gods, or kami, known in Japanese Shinto, and their head director, Amano, lost her memories, so she forgot she was a god. This makes her now a human. One common point that is spoken between Okitama and other gods is how often humans have betrayed and continue to betray the gods with their selfish greed and technological advancements, giving them godlike powers. It is only Okitama, despite his lack of trust in humans, and Amano who stand firm with their duties to protect humans, even though Amano is human now too. The show also explores immortality in such ways as mermaid taxidermy, which gets paid off at the very end. We are also constantly misled as to who Hiriko is. The show makes us believe it's one of the woman gods in AARO, Toyotama, who can control water for the first half of the show, until this character reveals it's not her in episode 6. Episode 6 is kind of a pillar episode in the show, as it's the one where Okitama reveals the existence of gods or kami, and how all the members of AARO are gods. Episode 6 is also one of my favorite episodes in the show. It's the episode where we learn about Yaobikuni, otherwise called Inuzaka, a woman who gained immortality through eating mermaid flesh in the hopes that one day she would be reunited with her lover, who died when they met 90 years ago in the past. Inuzaka is a beauty entrepreneur who dated a cosmetics entrepreneur in the present day, was seeking an immortality drug through mermaid taxidermy. This is to give to her clients so that they can stay young and beautiful forever. What she doesn't know though is that her lover, cosmetics entrepreneur, is actually a god who would be reincarnated eternally anyway, and that they met again while he was still alive, and she would meet him again as a different person. This is a very interesting thread in the overall plot and lore of the AARO series. Then there's another guest character in the show, the woman called Mio Tsukuda, her human name, or Tsukuyomi, the moon god. This is another character worth mentioning. She saved Amano's life using her powers of time control in one of the episodes, and her ties to both AARO and Hiroko are quite interesting. We are led to believe she is helping Hiroko when we learn the tragic fate of her daughter, who committed suicide after essentially being harassed online and cyberbullied. Then it is confirmed that she did, in fact, help Hiroko in exchange for information on the humans who killed her daughter. In return, it is revealed to us that Tsukuda is the one who used her powers to control time and resurrect a mermaid's remains so that Hiroko could finally create an immortality drug, as alluded to in episode 6. Then there's Chief Inspector Aranami, another character worth mentioning. His childhood friend, Utsuki, who served as a cook for members of AARO, was spirited away as one of the many victims of Hiroko, thus making Aranami's resolve to find Hiroko that much stronger. Another new antagonist character introduced to us, Tadashi Kotobuki, we are misled to believe is Hiroko as well. He is summoned by Naobi, who is the bridge between the police and AARO. Naobi introduces Kotobuki to the police characters to mislead them into believing that the 5 original victims killed by Hiroko in the Spirited Away case were all somehow connected to AARO, driving up the police's suspicions of AARO even further. Miss Kuda cooperates with Kotobuki and with Hiroko in the shadows to find out who Hiroko is looking for, a god who is a gatekeeper of the underworld known as Yomi. The god's identity remains secret, revealed only through Tsukuda's cooperation with Okitama. He is the key to Hiroko's plan succeeding. Tsukuda's death is one of the sadder moments in the series after she can't tolerate human behavior anymore with their narcissistic tendencies and modernism of using technology. It was just too much for her in the end. Since we learned Okitama is sort of the gatekeeper god, this makes him the key and is very important to protect against Hiroko. Hiroko's plan is to find the true identity of the gatekeeper god and then erase all the gods. Once Hiroko discovers that the god is Okitama, he accelerates his plans forward. We get to learn the true identity of Hiroko by episode 10 and his backstory. It turned out to be Naobi in the end, a very interesting character choice. If it weren't for Amano, the head of AARO, who is now human, Okitama would have been doomed already, and she sacrificed her god life to spare him. Interestingly, since Amano became a human, she became the bridge between the gods of AARO and humans. She guided Okitama to learn to trust them when he really needed it. The human who ended up helping Okitama in the final battle against Hiroko was none other than Chief Aranami. Tatsuya Fujiwara is an absolute marvel to watch along with his co-stars, and the actor playing Naobi, who turned out to be Hiroko, is outstanding to watch in the finale episode. Also, special shoutouts to the actors who played Tsukuda, the moon god, and the police force characters Aranami and Ninomiya. They all did an outstanding job in pivotal scenes towards the end. This show, despite some of its flaws, was still amazing to watch. So go check it out now on Netflix. If you like this video, please give it a like, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to see more content like this. Keep watching J-Dramas. I'm Shindiver, and I'll see you next time.